And welcome into a special edition of the Backstage Pass. Of course, you guys know we always do the shows between 3:30 and 6:30 Monday through Friday, but this week I get a little vacation week, extra vacation. And of course, I get a chance to do some matinee shows, as I call them here. Like I said, lunchtime at 11 o'clock Central Time. Here it is, the Backstage Pass presented by Bangtail Whiskey. And of course, our good friends over at MitchMacs.com and Hank Jr. Productions. Appreciate all the work that our sponsors do. Flying solo here. Kirsty Krause had some musical things to take care of today, so she was unable to join us here. But pleased to welcome in. I always call this particular great artist Nashville's best kept secret. And you'll see why here on the podcast today is the great Hannah Dasher joins us here on the program. How you doing?
Howdy.
I was pleased to have you here.
Thank you.
And I love saying that because I feel like that's always been the case too. But this didn't come easy. Talk about the road. Let's talk about kind of the setup here. Just the musical background. You knew you wanted to do this from an early age. Music had always been around you, but it's never an easy road for anybody getting there. And kind of tell your story to people and getting to this point in your career.
Well, anything worth coming by isn't, but best kept secret. I love that. I felt that way about Chris Stapleton, or a lot of us did, and I foresee that path, if you will. I'm praying for that, but it's not the same for anybody. But I didn't know a soul when I moved to town. I moved here 11 years ago, and almost 12. Sold Mercury outboard motors and bass boats at Bass Pro Shops for Tracker, and it was right next door to the Opry, so I had to stare at the Opry all day, every day, parking lot, and that built a fire into my butt. Got fired for writing songs on the job, if you could imagine that. And I signed my first major publishing deal, and one of my songs got picked up by Brad Paisley, one of the ones I was working on at the time I got fired, as luck would have it. And he's released it once, but he's releasing it again this year with Miss Kelly Clarkson, and it's a duet. I cannot wait to hear it. But yeah, I didn't know anyone, so I just had to kind of I made cool T-shirts for myself that had stuff like Conway Twitty's face on it that said, "Hello, darling, I just love to lay you down." And like a really cool. It was before people were wearing band shirts. Like no one really wore any retro band shirts back then. Anyhow, so I made cool T-shirts, and people would approach me, and they did. And that's how I just struck up conversations with people in the industry, and I just tried to be a good hang out at the right places, and led to a record deal. And working with Jaron Johnston, Cadillac 3, and going on the road with them, and that'll definitely make an entertainer out of you, to open up for a rock and roll band with an acoustic guitar. And Jaron gave me my first Telecaster, my electric, with a rock and roll pickup in it, and said, "Here, learn it." And so I've learned it well enough to fake it and take a few solos live. And now Fender's sent me a shit ton of them, and I'm just so tickled to be here. Oh, and my TikTok kind of blew up on me year before. During quarantine.
That's a good thing. Seems to be the thing that's working now is that TikTok, no doubt. Hey, let's talk about musical influences growing up. I'm sure a variety of people. Who were you kind of jamming out to?
My gosh, my end all be all growing up was Alan Jackson. My mother exposed me to like Aretha Franklin, who is one of my favorite vocalists of all time, and Patsy Cline. Those are huge influences of mine. And as a songwriter and as an artist and a stylist, Hank Jr. is also my end all be all. Alan, Hank, Eric Church, those are kind of my big three. And then Tom Petty, also just, and his ability to stay ahead of the curve and to stay relevant. And that's just, you always want to try to be the coolest kid in the room. And I think Tom Petty was that guy. He was always the coolest cat in the room. And anyway.
The performances are opening back up. We just left Nashville for the CRS, and we had talked to several of the rising stars: Dustin Collins, Maggie Ball, and Caitlin Smith on Sony. Shenandoah, the legends mixed in with it too.
Caitlin's so talented.
Oh, she's fantastic. I love her stuff. With the performances opening back up now in the live stages, you've got some performances coming up here. You're going to be down here in Texas, in Austin. Talk about that a little bit too at the same time, and just how excited you are to get back on stage.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Well, Caitlin and I both we did it separately, but this last month for Reba, which is great. But I'm excited to be in Texas for the first time performing. I've been to Texas, but I've never performed in Texas yet because I'm a new baby act. But we'll be at Copeland Dance Hall in Austin on the 25th. And I'll be at Prom and Round Top on the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And if you tune in to Fox Sports on Sunday, you'll see me at the racetrack.
Oh, yeah.
They're Circuit of the Americas for NASCAR. I'll be singing America's Beautiful, I believe, or God Bless America. America's Beautiful. It's going to be wonderful.
Those big NASCAR events, no doubt too. Talk about, just growing up and just that the work ethic you had. I mean, we talked about some of those jobs. You mentioned Bass Pro Shop, but you weren't afraid to get your hands dirty on a lot of different fronts too at the same time, which has now led to some great musical success, a great album, EPs come out, the songs and singles and things like that. But I think there's a big crossover between, and that's why I talk about this show, sports and music. They're so integrated out there because an athlete has to put in a certain amount of miles to get to where he wants to go as a professional athlete. A musician has to do the same thing, and you were never afraid to get your hands dirty.
Golly, you're so kind. Well, it took a few snow-ins in Nashville for us to get snowed in for a few days for me to pick up the guitar and teach myself how to play the slide. And with my TikTok taking off like it has, I joke that my life is a balance between a fender and a frying pan. I do not put in the practice that I need to. I make better biscuits than I can play solo now. And it's been so good to get back on the road and to get out there. And, I'm a tone snob and stuff like that, but I will never be as good as I want to be. But as an entertainer, I feel like you've got to put in the time. And if you want to be taken seriously, and I put a lot of years into writing and learning how to write commercially. And I pray I haven't written my best song yet. I'm really excited about the music that we put out and about the music that's coming to follow it. I go into record at the end of the month, the 23rd, right before I head to Texas. So I'm so excited.
I love that.
To get some of this new stuff.
I want to talk about what I thought was a great EP you put out there, the Half record, which has some great songs on there. You're Gonna Love Me, which is just a great country song. Leave This Bar, Left, Right. Talk about putting that together, working with the team, getting in the studio to record, the writing behind it. Just a fantastic EP. Did we lose you? There she is. She got back.
Hank's daughter is ringing in. I love her to pieces.
Right.
It's so precious. Isn't that fun? You talk about your heroes.
Yeah,
God bless. I know. Just to think, years ago, I was scrubbing toilets to help pay my band because I didn't have a guitar, and because I sold them all. Overhead's expensive for those of you listening in, but all that to say, the writing process for the Half record. The writing process is. It's always different. It's always the same. For me, how it happens when a song comes out of the sky, and again, like it's as a young writer, I'm used to having to kind of run the room because I've got to prove myself to these cats that I'm writing with. So I usually have to come up with the ideas. But like for Left Right, for example, Brandon, my producer, had that title, and then the Lord just sent "Quit going left, right, left, right, left, right" on it. Right out of heaven, and I channeled Roger Miller and Beyonce, and all my single ladies. But so there fell out. If you want it, you better put a ring on her left right now. And so the chorus was just written, and that was an easy day. But then you've got other days where it's just it's hard to work for it, and like the song "Shoes," I started that chorus right here. On this ottoman that I'm patting, but I finished it with some friends of mine, Jake Rose and Claire Douglas, daughter to Tom, who's a big old songwriter. So my team was happy with that. And "You're Gonna Love Me" was an easy day. It's upbeat. It's my show opener, and it's such a fun music video. And I've got a big old flag that travels with me now behind me, and big old American flag. So, but "Girls Call the Shots" that you mentioned. Your favorite is a song that I was pitched. I did not write that. And that's why I cut it, because I wish that I had, but it just, I think Chris Young, or one of the big artists at the label, had it on hold. And so my producer, Brandon, had a hunch. He's like, let's just cut a guitar vocal of this and you do your thing on it. And let's just send it in. So we did, and they let me have it. But I think it's a great song, and I think Apple's giving it a lot of love, and Leave This Bar is getting a lot of love, and Apple gave "You're Gonna Love Me" a lot of love too. But Leave This Bar, I think we're fixing to hit a million streams on that on Spotify, which is good.
Unbelievable. Hey, I know a lot of artists are doing a lot of the different things now for styles of, we just passed another great Christmas. Everybody was kind of felt like they were back together after all the things we've gone through. Rocking around the Christmas tree. One of my favorite artists out there. She's been on the program with me, Julia Cole. Just a fantastic lady. What was it like to work with her on that project? I know it was Christmas 2021 when you guys put that out, but I thought just a great job and a great duet between the both of y'all.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you. Julia is just precious. She's been a girlfriend of mine for several years, and not to mention her handsome boyfriend's pretty nice to look at too. She dates one of the daughters. Marshall's so precious. But yeah, no, it was great. It was the hard part was not having any say so over the production and stuff, because I'm not that I'm a control freak, but yeah, I like to co-produce, and I like to put my spin on things so that it sounds like me. But I'm so tickled that she had me be a part of that with her and featured me on that. And I'm excited to be singing on Chase Rice's new record with him on a few songs. That's going to be a lot of fun. He's putting out a country record. So
okay, we just got to see
Julia's
him
my
there.
pop girl.
Huh? She is a pop girl. Now, speaking of Chase, we got to see him up there in Nashville at one of the VIP events that Broken Bow Big Machine put on. So another fantastic artist. We got to see him, and of course he actually sang his version of the song he wrote, Cruise, which was on the stage there before. Our friend Dustin Lynch took the stage, Lindsay L. Just great to have a meet and greet up there. Tell me about this, because you've started this thing called Stand By Your Pan, and this was like a TikTok thing going on out there. Now, for me who's kind of looking to get more insight on cooking, because I don't cook a lot, I'm trying to do a little bit more dishes that I know I'm able to manage. It started out with, I mean, you mentioned about the TikTok thing, but yeah, it's the social media thing that's growing now. For you, very cool show. Got to tune in for several episodes, and within 6 months, holy crap, Hannah, this thing just took off, right?
Right, it did. I was trying to get the attention of the label that I was at, but and grow a platform, but everyone was complaining about their grocery bill and how much they were spending since they were all shut into the house, and now we're all fussing. But I figured food was probably it's a love language of mine, and it was universal, and it was something that we could all agree on: fried chicken. And so, but food's a love language, and I love to entertain, whether it's on the stage or in my kitchen, and I just let the kitchen become my stage. And it's just a little country music infused. I mean, I pay homage to Tammy Wynette. I sing "Stand By Your Pan" at the beginning of every video. And hell, I can't go into a Home Depot or anywhere, a restaurant or airport, without taking a photo with somebody. So it's really done a lot to launch me and to put me out there. And now I just need a manager to come in and help me take it farther than I can.
I like that too. It's great. And the hard work, as I always say, and anything else pays off. And I think, like, you're in such an inspiration to me, because I look back and I say to myself, it may take a little time. It's worth the wait, but once it happens, it's meant to be. It's in God's hands. And I really appreciate the story you have there. Talk about that. You mentioned about Caitlin, and she had so many great things to say about Reba McEntire, being on stage, meeting that. What was that experience like to meet a legend whose career took off? I mean, many years in the 90s, one of the greatest 90s artists we'll ever hear from, the queen of country music. What was that experience like?
Oh my heavens. Well, obviously I'm a child of the 90s, so I grew up singing around the living room and in my bathroom with a hairbrush. Why haven't I heard from you, fancy, all that good stuff. And practicing she inspired me when she would host the award shows with Vince and all. Like, I would practice my Female Vocalist of the Year award speeches and stuff as a little girl, because it was just Reba. But she could not have been more gracious and kind, and she gave me little gifts and sent me little notes and stuff. Look how good her handwriting is.
Got the autograph.
But with nice whiskey and the band and all, it was just such a good fit. It was the easiest thing I've ever done, and I was really well received in cities that I've never played before, and I was just really, really pleased. We had a really great turnout to watch as far as the opener goes. But her team was impressed, and I'm excited to do more dates, whether I'm hoping and feeling for in my future. So we'll see. Nothing I can announce, but we'll see if it do.
I hope it does. No doubt about it. I think, one of the cool things, we interview so many great artists here on the program, and this infusion, Hannah, of like all these great female artists now in the industry. My God, I mean, it's really taken over the last, I'd say, 5-6 years, the female country power of the female country movement. And how exciting is this to see? I mean, you're right up there with them. I mean, Kylie Morgan, and we've talked about Carly Pierce, Ashley McBride just doing their thing on the ACM Awards show with a great duet Monday night, and just all these, Lindsay L, Lainey Wilson. What's it like to see this movement now with so much talent in the industry right now?
I appreciate that they're giving us a voice, but I plan to make noise whether or not, just because I consider myself to be one of the boys, which is why I love Reba so much, because Reba didn't want to cut ballads like everybody else and sing those whiny songs like most women do. And I don't either. I sing upbeat and, stuff that's true to me. And I'm happy for the success of my peers, Lindsay and girls like that. And, Caitlin's so talented. I'm happy for their success. I believe that people eventually have a good sense for what is genuine and for what isn't. And I believe that's the stuff that will stick. And that's also the stuff that takes a longer time to rise to the top.
I love it.
So to quote Brenda Lee. But again, like I'm glad to be a woman, and I don't want any special attention for it. I plan on bulldozing my way through regardless, because I am one of the boys, and I don't listen to a lot of girl music. It's hard to impress me because I am a woman. I'm very supportive of of my girls like Julia and Ashley McBride and stuff like that. I wish Ashley would take me out on tour with her again. I opened up one show for her, and and the whole front two rows started coming to my shows. I'm so tickled. That's how I got my assistant. So Ashley, I owe you a big one, Sister Sue.
There you go. Like I said, she's out there, no doubt. So I can see you getting back on tour with her. We'll take a quick time out here. It's Hannah Dasher. It is the Backstage Pass. Pay some bills here, of course. Bangtail Whiskey and MitchMacs coming right back. I want to get into songwriting and, of course, some new music that's on the horizon that Hannah already mentioned to you guys. Maybe we can't say drop dates, but we'll kind of let the cat out of the bag as much as we can here. Again, it's Brandon. It's Hannah. It is the Backstage Pass. Hang tight. Quick word from Bangtail Whiskey. We'll be right back.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause, Jeff McMahon, as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here every day, Monday through Friday. It is the Backstage Pass. Of course, normal hours, 3:30 to 6:30. We'll have some shows coming up this week in the afternoon, but it's always good to get some matinee things done, especially when you have a star like Hannah Dasher joining us here on the show, presented by Bangtail Whiskey, MitchMacs.com, and our good friends over at Hank Jr. Productions. I love the fact that you have all those guitars, and I was going to ask you, how many guitars do you own?
I really hadn't stopped to count. I just got tangled up. Did you say Hank Jr. Productions? What in the world?
He does podcasting, photography, and videography out of Florida. Good friend of ours. Yeah, for a lot of artists and a lot of shows down there. So his
but he calls it Hank Jr. Productions. Are you there?
Friend.
I can't see a thing.
I got you. Yeah, HankJrProductions.com. He does a lot of cool stuff down there. And he actually, any artist that goes to Florida, Kirsty Krause in particular, they do a lot of the videography, podcasting, anybody getting married, he does wedding photos and all kind of cool stuff. So it's good stuff out there. But yeah, the guitars, you hadn't stopped to count, have you?
No, I hadn't stopped to count them, but I'm so tickled. I'm a Fender girl, and you always will be. Although, because I've got a couple Gibsons too, but don't tell anybody. But yeah, they're just so dang heavy. I got a lot to carry around as it is, my hips and all. But I'm tickled. I'm tickled to have them, because there was a time when I didn't have any. I sold all my guitars to help pay for my band, and for years I wrote songs and played shows on borrowed guitars.
Well, I'll tell you what, it certainly has paid off, no doubt. Let's talk about songwriting, because we mentioned that we talked about a few tunes here and kind of where they came from. But what's kind of your favorite part of the process? I mean, songwriting is that process. You get the hook, you get the idea, people get their phone, or just the old school kind of, paper pencil type thing. What do you enjoy most, and kind of where you draw that inspiration from?
That's three questions in one. The part I enjoy most about it is, the hardest part is getting the idea. It's very, very hard to land on a great idea that is going to work. It's very hard. And so it's exciting when you do find one of those ideas. And that's one of my favorite, that's my favorite part about it, because when that happens, usually from my creative process, the Lord usually sends the lyric and the melody at the same time. And I don't know where it comes from, other than it's just the left side of heaven around right up that way. So about northwest is where it's coming from. And it just comes boop, and right out. And you better be holding on, and you better have have an ink pen or something beside you to type it down. But another part that I really, really love about that process is when that happens, and when you're in the room with one of your heroes, like a Casey Beathard, Win Varbles, guys like that know what to do when you're on a tear that away, that can just that help you carry the load lyrically. It's hard to be like, if you're the strong one in the room, it's hard to do that. So I try to be equally yoked, or to ride up, if you will, when I'm lucky enough to get to do that with guys that have done it a lot longer than me, that know what they're doing. So,
we talked about the good taste in music that you had. And of course, I grew up in that same era of 90s country.
Yeah.
And when you were 8, and I did a little digging here, you knew who Keith Stigall was. And that's pretty cool. And I want to say this, because everybody knows Keith Stigall knows, like I said, I worked with some amazing artists, Alan Jackson, whole 9 yards. You kind of knew you wanted to become that country music singer. Why the 90s era? And of course, I mean, for me, it's just a no-brainer type thing. But
why not?
Why not? Exactly. And then, of course, Keith Stigall, knowing who that was from a young age, is pretty cool.
Well, I think, like we said earlier, the good stuff hangs around. And the quality of the writing, the quality of the vocalist, like you knew who everybody was without having to look at your radio screen to see who it was, because everyone had their own sound. Everyone had their own look. Like it was like you could tell Joe Diffie from a Mark Chestnut, and Alan Jackson from a Tim McGraw. You could tell a Trisha Yearwood from a Martina. Nobody sang with accents. They just sounded like them. And so that's that beautiful steel guitar, and that whole, for me, it's nostalgic. I've tried to bring an element of that into my music, and I'm seeing a lot of write-ups that say it's 90s country with a whole fresh twist of its own, and I think that's great. But it's hard not to be influenced by the greatness of that era, and it will always be some of my favorite country music.
I love it, and that's what you said. You said, why not? It's a no-brainer. You knew who that artist was when they came on the radio back, and you still do even today with Channel 58 Prime Country, and that's just one of my favorite stations to listen to. Let me ask you this one: being a female artist, what's the best, kind of a two-parter here? What's the best part of being in this industry now, and kind of your career where it's at? And then 2, what's the most challenging, I guess, kind of most challenging phase you face as a female artist?
I've never considered myself a female artist. I mean, I'm 100% woman. I'm just an artist, because for me, talent is talent, regardless of, you know what I mean? I think there's a reason why boys have ruled the radio. It's because girls have been singing a bunch of whiny, slow ass songs that nobody wants to listen to. I don't listen to that. If I can't put it on my gym mix, it's just, or, if it doesn't move me, then I don't listen to it either. And so, I think that if we get too, what's the word? I don't know. I think I think it's wonderful to provide opportunities with people, but I also think we don't need to overlook the star quarterbacks that are sitting on the bench. You know, it's really, really political up here. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm jaded, because I'm so grateful to do this for a living and all that. But I just think there's some really great talent out there that needs to be discovered, like Brent Cobb. And, you know, there's just a lot of great acts, you know, out there that I think are going to do something, are really going to do something. But, as a woman, you know, I'm grateful to be unique, to stand out among the girls in my own way. And it's a man's world, and I love men. So I'm hoping that doesn't go away either. Again, I don't want anyone to make an exception for me or for anybody else because I'm a woman, because I'm black or white. Like, you know, I think you really dilute the whiskey. You really water down the whiskey when you get to do that kind of thing. I just think that great music and great talent should speak for itself. You know,
that's true.
But,
and a lot of
I'm going to be busting my ass either way to try to get out there and be heard. So
you're the grinder, no doubt about that. So much talent we mentioned up there in Nashville, and that's one of the things, the cool conversations you get to meet and network in this industry. And I think the big word that comes to mind for me when I was up there, Hannah, is collaboration. How important is that to you in the music industry?
It's so important. It's so important. And they taught me in my little music business school at University of Georgia. They taught us, they're like, 3 rules to the music business are: 1, be a good hang; 2, bring it as far as talent goes; and 3, be a good hang. Like, those are the rules. I think that kind of sums it up.
That it does, and that's why you've got so many great collaborations. And of course, like you said, it's awesome to see the career where it is right now. All right, we do this thing, Hannah, called rapid fire. So if it takes a little thought, it's not so rapid. But the good thing is, it's a good thing because we get to know you more on a personal basis. So ask a series of funny questions, and then you get to answer them here too as well. All right, so I guess when you're having one of those days and you get home, you just don't feel like cooking, what's kind of the go-to takeout food? And I guess with that, is there a beverage that goes along with that if you had a rough day?
Well, it's neither. It's probably green beans out of a can and a big fat joint.
Nothing wrong with those two right there. Like I said, it's green beans out of a can. You can never, ever
So
go
sugar-free
wrong
chocolate chips from Lily's.
All right. Favorite food to cook on the show or just in general?
Oh, heavens. I love to fix a beef roast with cream potatoes, and I really love fixing them for men.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to try. Hannah Dash, your recipe. If we ever get to meet in person, I will have to take you up on that offer, because I'll give it like it is. Like I said, 1 bite, and then I'll leave it all on the line. So if you're cool with that, we'll meet in person and do it that way. Favorite cartoon and I guess movie or movies growing up?
My favorite cartoon growing up, I mean, we watched like Foghorn Leghorn. I can't think of one. Favorite movie growing up, movies will always be Smokey and the Bandit, Top Gun, and Tombstone. Those are my top 3.
I haven't heard a Top Gun reference in a while, but we've been seeing it on some of those movie channels as of late. All right, let's do this one. If Hannah Dasher had won, I guess, the Powerball or the Mega Millions tomorrow, what's the first thing she would do with the cash?
First thing, well, you're supposed to give the first fruits of your earnings to the Lord. So I felt convicted this year about tithing, and so I have been, and Lord, have my needs been met? So yeah, I'd give it to the Lord, and then the rest I'd buy some more clothes, because I have to buy the fabric because I have all my stuff made. But I'm fixing I got a truckload of wigs coming in too. I'm real excited about.
I'm excited about that too. I always say I love the hair. You're synonymous with the hair too as well. I love it. So I commend you on.
I'd pay off the music that we're making. I mean, the recording process is expensive. That's the reason when you're tied to a major label, they charge you a little more. Spoiler alert, which is I don't like that, but it is what it is. Yeah. So it was 6 figures to put out the half record, just to record it. Anyhow, so when you do it independently, it doesn't cost as much at all. So, but I'm excited about the new music that I'm going to cut at the end of the month. And I played one right here for the first time to a buddy of mine, and he sat there and cried. Not because it's sad or slow or anything, but he loved it so much. So I'm very tickled.
Well, I had one of my I say buddies and listeners to the show. He always chimes in with a comment here too as well. So that's all the way in England, which is great because I love David Hine too. He asked some great questions.
Hey,
So
David.
I love that too. Next time we get her on, David, she will play a song for us. We definitely want to hear those beautiful tones next time she comes on with us. Hopefully we can get one of those guitars ready and definitely play a song. But thanks for chiming in. We appreciate that. All right, is Hannah Dasher a coffee drinker? And if so, what goes in the coffee?
Yes, I'm a coffee drinker, and I have an autoimmune kind of thing. So I'm very, very sensitive to caffeine. So I drink decaf, but I drink bougie decaf, thanks to my folks at Blue Mountain Coffee out of Atlanta. They keep me equipped. And if I'm out of that, I love my Dunkin' decaf. Yeah, but I use an old percolator from the 1960s or early 60s called a Handy Hannah. It's so precious. You want to see it? But yeah, that's what I drink my coffee out of. And I drink my old lady dairy creamer with it too. That hydrogenated soybean oil stuff. But here's my percolator.
There it is. Can't beat it. Right can't beat it right there too. All right, let's do back to food here because I'm a foodie just like any other guy and a person out there who loves to eat. So if Hannah Dasher's ordering a pizza just for Hannah and nobody else can have a slice, what toppings go on the pizza for Hannah?
Gosh, if the calories don't count.
Calories don't count.
So in a dream world, if I was ordering pizza, I want stuffed crust, and I'm a meat lovers pizza girl. See? Always a meat lovers pizza. So yeah. Or if not, I'm gonna get cauliflower crust with like a barbecue chicken pizza with cauliflower crust. So.
You're like me, meat lovers all the way, and if calories don't count, there's about 3-4 slices in that. I top it at about 4, so that's about half right there. And my kid loves pizza.
I've got some TV stuff that I'm doing coming up, so I can't be oh Lord. So all I can do is squeeze into my current outfits.
And my kid's got this thing where she's saying "itza" now, "itza," so pizza.
Itza. Oh, that's cute, Brandon.
So my little girl's doing that. And she loves that's one of the favorite foods beside macaroni and cheese out there, no doubt. All right, favorite places. I'm gonna stay on the food topic because I got to experience a little bit of Nashville's finest when I was there covering CRS. Favorite places for you to eat in Nashville?
Favorite places to eat? Ooh, I'm a regular at Sperry's. It's tucked away in Belmead. It's been there since the 70s, and it's just my favorite salad bar. The bean salad's great. And David, hang around. I may send you a little note from Cambria. But Sperry's, Fifth and Taylor, the duck wings. And oh heavens, I am a recent fan of Jeff Ruby, whatever, one of those places. I don't know. And I like the free food, but yeah, it depends on where you're going or what you're craving for me to direct you as far as that goes. But yeah.
Well, I got to try. I know
Mission Barbecue. I get their ribs often because it's nearby and supports our troops and that kind of thing. But I kind of like my ribs too.
See, Hannah Dasher's ribs.
I just don't have time to
cook. She's always busy, no doubt. Nathan says Waffle House. Yeah, I went to a Waffle House there, Nathan. Those are common in
nothing wrong with Waffle House. I wish I could see the comments.
Awesome. I love that stuff there too at the same time. Well, Hannah, I tell you what, it's awesome to catch up and just make this happen. I really appreciate the time. Hope you had fun. Hey, best of luck with the new music going forward and the performances coming up in Texas. Check her out, Hannah Dasher Music. .com. And hey, we always appreciate you and the time. I know you got the busy schedule, but thanks so much for making this happen, you and your team.
Thank you for having me, Brandon. You have a good one.
You got it.
I can't wait to hear that John Oates interview. It's going to be good.
It was a good one, no doubt. We'll talk soon tomorrow on the Backstage Pass. Emily Ann Roberts, thanks to the sponsors. We'll see you guys tomorrow. 10:30, Paul Bogart's going to join us. And then, of course, 1:30 tomorrow, Emily Ann Roberts here on the Backstage Pass. We'll see you guys soon. Until then, have a great night.